If this message has found you today, just dismiss it as a coincidence. Spirit has a way of placing the right words in front of us exactly when our hearts are ready to receive them. The energy entering this reading is incredibly strong. Spirit immediately draws my attention to someone who has been carrying your energy far more deeply than you realize. This person has tried to stay focused on their own life, their responsibilities, and their daily routine. Yet, no matter how much they distract themselves, something always brings them back to you. It could be a song, a familiar place, a certain time of day, or sometimes absolutely nothing at all. Out of nowhere, your presence enters their heart, and for a few moments, everything else disappears. I never truly stopped carrying you with me. This person is beginning to understand that what they feel for you isn't temporary. They've tried to explain it logically, but logic keeps falling apart whenever your energy appears. Spirit says they are no longer asking why they feel connected to you. Now they're asking why they ever tried to ignore it. The next message is important, so stay with me. This person has been replaying your story together, not because they're trapped in the past, but because they're finally seeing it through different eyes. Situations they once misunderstood suddenly make perfect sense. Conversations they barely paid attention to now echo inside their mind. They're realizing that you were showing them love in ways they weren't emotionally mature enough to recognize. That realization carries both gratitude and regret. The regret isn't that they met you. The regret is that fear spoke louder than their heart. Spirit keeps showing me someone sitting quietly, completely alone, reflecting on everything that happened between you. There are moments where they smile because they remember your kindness. Then there are moments where tears almost surface because they remember the pain they caused. This person doesn't enjoy looking at those memories. But Spirit says they're no longer running from them either. Healing begins the moment someone becomes honest with themselves. That's exactly where they are now. But Spirit isn't finished yet. There's another layer hidden beneath everything I've just shared. This person has spent a long time pretending to be stronger than they actually felt. To the outside world, they appeared calm, confident, in control. But inside, they've been carrying unanswered questions. Did I lose someone truly special? Will I ever have another connection like this? What if I waited too long? Spirit says these questions have become impossible for them to silence. The interesting thing is, every answer somehow brings them back to you. Every road they've taken eventually circles back to your name. This isn't obsession. This feels like awakening. They're beginning to understand that certain people enter our lives to change us forever. Whether those people stay close or not, they leave us transformed. Spirit says, you've transformed this person, not through force, not through pressure, simply by being yourself. Don't skip this next message because it changes everything. The energy shifts dramatically here. I'm seeing this person becoming much more emotionally aware than they were before. They're noticing patterns they've repeated for years. Whenever love became too real, they pulled away. Whenever emotions became overwhelming, they became silent. Whenever vulnerability appeared, they built walls instead. They now recognize that these walls didn't protect them. They isolated them. Spirit says they're beginning to understand the difference between protecting the heart and imprisoning it. That's a lesson they couldn't have learned without this connection. You became the mirror that reflected everything they still needed to heal. At first, they resisted that reflection. Now, they're grateful for it. This person secretly admires you more than they've ever expressed. They admire the way you continued growing even when life wasn't easy. They admire your resilience, your dignity, your ability to protect your peace without becoming cold. They've watched you choose healing over bitterness. That has inspired them more than you know. Spirit says your strength gave them permission to become stronger too. You may never have realized it. But simply by continuing your own journey, you've encouraged someone else to begin theirs. That's a beautiful energy. Another message coming through says this person doesn't want another surface-level connection. They've experienced attraction before. They've experienced excitement before. But what they feel with you reaches somewhere much deeper. It challenges them, it softens them, it asks them to become more honest than they've ever been. Spirit says that's exactly why they haven't been able to forget you. Your connection awakened parts of their soul they didn't even know existed. And once the soul awakens, life can never return to the way it was before. Spirit is showing me that this person never stopped caring. What stopped them was uncertainty. They convinced themselves that time would make these feelings disappear. Instead, time only made them stronger. The silence they created became louder than any conversation they could have had. Every day they delayed saying something became another day filled with unanswered questions. Now they're beginning to understand that avoiding vulnerability never protected their heart. It only delayed their happiness. Spirit says they're carrying one sentence deep inside their soul. Those words repeat more often than they would ever admit. They're no longer blaming circumstances. They're looking inward. That's where true transformation begins. This person has started imagining a future instead of replaying the past. For a long time, they focused only on what went wrong. Now something has shifted. They're asking themselves a different question. What if it's still possible? Spirit says hope has quietly replaced fear. They're beginning to imagine ordinary moments with you, not dramatic fairy tale scenes, simple mornings, peaceful conversations, laughing over small things, supporting one another through life's challenges. Those ordinary moments have become their greatest dream. Because deep down, they no longer want excitement. They want peace. And when they think of peace, they think of you. The cards show someone who finally understands that love isn't measured by intensity alone. It's measured by consistency, presence, honesty, choosing each other every single day. That's the kind of love they're learning to build. There are still emotions this person hasn't shared, not because they're hiding the truth, because they're afraid the depth of their feelings may overwhelm you. They've imagined speaking openly. They've imagined telling you how often you've crossed their mind, how many nights they've wished they could call you, how many times they almost reached out, only to stop themselves at the last second. Fear whispered, "What if it's too late?" But Spirit says that fear is losing its power. Courage is slowly taking its place. This isn't rushed energy. This is someone becoming emotionally ready. That's a very different vibration. Spirit shows this person forgiving themselves. For a long time, they believed they had ruined everything. Now they're beginning to understand that healing also means allowing themselves another chance. They're learning that people can grow. They can change. They can become wiser than the versions they once were. And because of that realization, they no longer see your story as something broken. They see it as unfinished. That changes everything. Instead of looking backward with regret, they're beginning to look forward with hope. Spirit says many of you have been experiencing unusual synchronicities, repeated numbers, unexpected memories, dreams that feel incredibly real, thinking about this person moments before hearing something connected to them. These experiences aren't here to create fear. They're reminders that energy often moves long before circumstances do. Sometimes the heart senses change before the eyes can see it. Trust your intuition. It's stronger than you realize. This person wants to approach differently than they have before. No more confusion, no more emotional guessing games, no more expecting you to read between the lines. Spirit says they're learning that real love communicates, real love listens, real love takes responsibility. That's the version of themselves they want you to meet. Not the fearful version, not the emotionally unavailable version, the healed version, the honest version, the version that understands your value. Whatever happened between you was never meaningless. Every conversation, every silence, every lesson, every moment of growth, it all carried purpose, even if you couldn't understand it while living through it. Spirit says this connection has changed both of your hearts forever. Whether communication returns tomorrow or sometime later, the transformation has already begun. The person you're thinking about isn't the same person they used to be. Life has humbled them. Reflection has softened them. Love has matured them. Most importantly, they've stopped asking whether these feelings are real. Now they're asking how they can honor them. That's a powerful shift. The final message Spirit leaves you with today is beautifully simple. Asterisk. They never truly lost the connection. They only lost their way. And now they're finding it again. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this message found your heart exactly when it needed to, quietly claim this beautiful energy. Remember, this is a collective reading, so receive the messages that resonate with your soul and lovingly release the rest. Until next time, continue trusting your intuition, protecting your peace, and believing that what is truly meant for you will always find its way back at the perfect divine timing.